My name is Carl Settles, and I'm the founder and executive director of E for Youth. And just very quickly, give you a little bit of background information on us. Our mission is to use the arts, sciences, and technology to help you find and pursue pathways to successful careers, while the word "to" is missing there, in the creative economy through hands-on training, mentorship, and exposure to real-world opportunities. So the 4 E's are to engage, educate, employ, and empower. Many youth don't know what they're interested in or what they like. So we really try to help them figure that out, educate them about how they can use those things that they like to create a digital portfolio. Based on that portfolio, we employ them to work on real projects with real companies like Resplendent Hospitality this past summer. And ultimately, going through that process is what empowers our students. We basically have 3 primary youth-facing programs. The big umbrella for the stuff that we do is the Creative Leadership Academy, and that's college-age youth. We provide 5 nights a week of programming for them, and they learn employability skills, work with our partners, build portfolios, and qualify for internships and employment. Our Get Creative clubs are high school clubs where we actually hire members of the Creative Leadership Academy, and we custom match them with career and technical education high school teachers so that they can build relationships with the high school students, help them build portfolios, and qualify for activities. And lastly is the Austin Digital Heritage Project, which is what you all are participating in today, and I'll go a little bit deeper into that. So the Leadership Academy, we have about 50 folks participating. It's 20 hours a month of hands-on employability training. They do get a $250 stipend each semester if they complete that. We start hiring our CLA members at $15 an hour. Really the power of what we do is a community. Developing a network of folks that are into some of the same things that you are. Of course, I Get Creative clubs. I talked about that. I'm not going to go deep into that. And a big component of what we've done with the Leadership Academy is we also hire these college-age youth to be what we call digital docents. And these are the folks that essentially collect and curate oral histories based on locations in Austin. And these will be the people that will be assisting you and supporting you throughout these, especially you Latinitas instructors. They'll be supporting you and helping you get through our entire process for the year. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Cynthia is our program manager for the Austin Digital Heritage Project. And Cynthia, you can introduce yourself and tell folks a little bit more about the project, and we'll show you all this platform.
So again, I'm Cynthia, and I started with E4 in January, and I took over the team of digital docents. So they're college age. Most of them they're either one or the other. To me, it's either they're like freshman, sophomore age, or they just recently graduated. I think we have maybe one junior. I can't remember exactly, but they're about that age frame. And we started working on this even more this summer with the winter storm and a bunch of other challenges. We kind of put this on the back burner, to be honest, but in the summer, it really kicked off. We met for about an hour or 2 hours a week. The students were charged with creating their own partnerships, determining which locations they wanted to research, conducting their own interviews, so setting up meetings with local community members. And then they also went out and did their own filming. They did their own audio. And some of the locations that Carl is going through, like we'll click on Rosewood Park. This was by a team of 2 docents, Darnell and Lily. And they went through, again, they captured some of the pictures with one of our media guys. And then they did the interview. And what you'll see on each location in East Austin is, or throughout Austin, I shouldn't just say East Austin, they'll have the 360 image of it. And so we also teach We'll teach Latinitas, Creative Action, any stakeholders how to do these types of 360 images. And then they also embedded a video talking about the history of this location. So our goal is to create even more of these locations on this interactive map. But it does kind of start with the storytelling process. And that's what we're going to be getting into today. Carl, did you want to show the video, like just a snippet or?
Yeah, I'll show a quick snippet. You know, the idea behind this is that history hides in plain sight. And you know that Austin is changing rapidly, is gentrified pretty much nowadays. And so what we want to be able to do is empower our students. Well, first, we want them to be able to tell their own stories first. And then as they start to gain confidence from that, then they can start to identify other places and people and be able to use the same tools to be able to tell stories about really any location in the world. So this is Rosewood Park.
Rosewood Park is Austin's first park specifically for African Americans. Located in the eastbound industrial district, it originated as a homestead that was sold by Rudolph Bertram's daughter and son-in-law, Emmy and Charles Hubbard, in 1928. Although the 1928 city plan.
So I'm not going to go too deep into that because I want to keep the time moving, but that gives you a sense of what Austin Digital, what these multimedia experiences are like. You can see here, this is so for people that have headsets. I know that the Latinita staff do have headsets, and you can view this in the browser. You can view it on your phone, but it's really, once you put on a headset, it takes it to a whole nother level in terms of engagement. And I know that that's difficult to do with kids and COVID in a classroom these days. So we're pretty much going to stay safe and use browsers for the most part. And let me see here. I just got to look at my script here. We demoed. So next, what we want to be able to do, you know, the whole idea, the power behind what we do is about building relationships and getting students to really talk about their lives. And to do that where it's unobtrusive. These kids have concepts being thrown at them all the time. And it's kind of, you know, most of your educators, and sometimes it's kind of like you're throwing spitwads at the wall, and some stick and some don't, right? I used to be a science teacher, so I had to teach cell division, mitosis, meiosis to students, right? And they don't even, you know, I say mitosis and they're lost, right? So we want to give them some context first, and then we can start to move beyond that. And we really feel like that's a powerful part. So Cynthia's gonna, what the name of this workshop is called, Vacation VR Remix Party. You will come out of this, and it's very simple. You will come out of this with your own vacation VR remix project today. So Cynthia, you want to talk about the
Yeah. So we saw the Austin Digital Heritage like as a final product. So it included a video asset, an audio asset, and then of course the research behind it. So today you're not going to be researching anything, but you are going to create your own audio asset and then your own image asset. And we're doing kind of a dream vacation conversation because we feel like travel, it may not be accessible to everybody, but you can always dream about it, right? Like if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? So that's just one of the questions I'm going to drop. There's 4 questions that we're going to kick off with first. And I'm going to put these in the chat. And I think, Carl, we're not going to do breakout rooms, right?
No, I don't think we need to.
Okay. So kind of like we started this morning by introducing ourselves and saying one good thing that happened to us this morning, we can just kind of take turns maybe on each question instead of all 4 at once, I guess, because we have the time set out for this. So the questions are just, what's your favorite kind of travel destination? Have you ever traveled outside of Texas or the United States? what's the farthest place you've traveled? And if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? And let me ask again, actually, Carl, should we do all 4 at once or one at a time?
Let's do one at a time, and not everybody has to go on every one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Well, I will go first. My favorite kind of travel destination, I think this is just from getting older and having gone to museums and stuff. I'm just about the beach, just about the beach life. That's it. I just want to sit and look at the sunset, and I'm good.
Yeah, I would have to say the same thing. I don't know. I guess I went to Cancun for the first time about 5-6 years ago, and I love that. So it's just to get away and not have to do much is really, really powerful for me. So I would say that. Don't be shy.
I was going to say, feel free to just unmute. We're not going to call on people. A couple people can go. And what's your favorite kind of travel destination?
Mountains for me. I love the mountains. Just, it's so peaceful. I love, honestly, cities, beaches, any type of travel, but I am from Virginia and currently living in Virginia, and just being able to see the mountains puts me at peace. So
Awesome.
I would say like historical. I like finding, I don't know, I like history and learning about different things and different cultures. So that would be interesting to me.
I'm a beach person. I love the water and the ocean. I'm drawn to it. So anytime there's water, I'm happy.
Same. I think I'm going to go with beach, but it's definitely a hard choice because I love the city too and the mountains and all of it. So
I agree.
I'm surprised nobody said all of them. Like, I want a beach by the mountains in the.
I was just thinking that if there was some mountains with a very nice lake or, the ocean by it, I'll be then perfection.
Yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't pick one.
I'm there for you, Cynthia. No, I mean, I got spoiled. I grew up in Colorado, spent most of my life there. So it's like, I saw the Rocky Mountains every day. I'm so over it. But yes, I'm so glad Carla brought it up because this also ties into a future question. My dream destination is Chile because it has everything. So I keep screaming at my husband to get us that vacation to Chile because I desperately want to go there.
Awesome. Liliana, what were you going to say?
Oh, just the same thing. I couldn't pick one, but if I had to, it'd definitely be the beach.
Awesome. Okay. And this does kind of go with what Janaea said about going to Chile, but have you ever traveled outside of Texas or the United States? For myself, yes, I've gone to Europe a couple of times and then Mexico. Anybody else want to jump in?
I've actually been to Santiago, and I want to go back really badly. That's like one of my places. I'm kind of just traveling around right now. It's definitely one of the places I want to go. Because the city, you have literally everything. You're an hour away from the Andes Mountains. You're an hour away from the beach. You're in the city. It's perfect. So I really want to go back there. And that's probably the furthest. I've also traveled to Europe. So kind of both of those.
Awesome. Who else wants to go? Don't be scared.
I've traveled to Dominican Republic and Guatemala, and I'm not sure which one's further, actually. Whichever, but if I could explore anywhere, it would be the Amazon rainforest. So I'm going to go with Costa Rica, probably.
Nice.
Well, I've traveled all over the United States and I've lived in a lot of places in the United States. I've been to Canada, I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to, so those are the places I've been. I want to visit Europe. I want to visit Nigeria in particular. I'd also like to go to Egypt because, hello, my name. And I've always wanted to visit Brazil.
Awesome. Well, I've been to Europe a few times, Mexico, Cancun. I actually went to Japan. I'm old. So back when I was in college, my dad was stationed in Japan, went to Korea. I really want to go to Africa. And I want to explore more of Latin America as well. My wife wants us to go to Spain desperately. So
That's mine. I want to go to my husband's family's from Spain, and we've been together 12 years, and I somehow have not gotten a Spain trip. So I'm very annoyed by it now.
I want to go to Italy and Norway because my husband's family is from Norway, and it looks not during the winter, during the summer.
No. Yeah, beautiful.
Awesome.
And okay, our last question. We kind of are getting there already, but specifically, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? For me, one of the top ones on my list is Nepal. I've had quite a few Nepalese students, and they're some of the kindest, sweetest, most beautiful people I've ever met. And one of my best friends went a couple of years ago, and her photos were amazing. So it's always kind of been on a top 5 list for me.
I definitely want to travel to Peru. That's where my mom's family is from. I lived there when I was like 2, so I barely remember it, but I would argue like Chile, it has everything. So definitely want to go there. When I was 12, my family lived in Geneva, Switzerland, like literally just for a year, but it was amazing. And we got to travel throughout Europe. So that's been a dream to like go back to Europe. Specifically, I want to go to Bavaria, just eat some delicious cheese. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm with you on that cheese life.
Yeah.
Also, much like Melissa, so my husband is Tunisian, and we haven't gone to Tunisia yet. And I'm grumpy about this because it's right there on the Mediterranean, and it's beautiful, and the food is amazing. And so that needs to happen very, very soon.
It sure does. For me, I was supposed to go to Belize and Guatemala for one of my best friend's weddings in 2020, and obviously that did not happen. So I'm trying to recreate that, and I really want to go to like Lake Adelon and just really explore Guatemala.
Guatemala is gorgeous for any adventure.
Yes. You've got cities, you've got beaches, you've got mountains. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And a lot of history too, if you're looking for that.
Okay. Well, cool. So we want to keep things moving, but notice how kind of at ease, and it's very easy to just have a conversation and talk about things that you like. A lot of times we don't really start to take stock of the things that we like and how we can leverage those things to be able to figure out and investigate who we are and move us somewhere. And so for our students, again, it's about helping them really kind of start to unlock their own story. And the coding part of it is very, very simple. It's just cut and paste. That's why it's called a remix, right?
One of my favorite cities is Paris. And I feel like people either love Paris or they hate Paris. There's usually not an in-between when I talk to people. And I'm definitely one of the people that love Paris, specifically the Eiffel Tower. I could sit there and read or write all day. It's kind of like the same vibe I get when I go down to Austin. I just recently moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but anytime I would visit Austin before living there, I just felt productive. And I would see people walking around and enjoying the city. And Paris, of course, has a lot of history to it. I've taken 2 student tours there whenever I was a former English teacher. So yeah, I chose that as my remix vacation because even though I've been there a few times, I think I've been there 4 or 5 times now. If you had a ticket for me tomorrow, I'd be there in a heartbeat. So that's my destination vacation remix. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to paste this address in the chat, everyone in the meeting. And go ahead and paste it here. And so this is what we're going to be working with today. So there is music, and so some things that are very important. If you have not already, you're going to need to get a free account on glitch.com. If you have like Gmail, I think you can use that, or even Facebook. Probably Gmail is probably better to go ahead and register. And what that's going to do is you're going to create your own remix, and you'll already have an account, and it will be automatically saved in your account that you can go back to later. I'm going to show you how this works. So you're on that page, and you've got this button on the lower right-hand corner that says remix this. So you click on that, and what it does is it makes a copy of that entire directory, and now you have your own version.
I'm sorry, could you show it to click again? Because I was distracted. I had to turn off the music.
No worries. No worries. Let me go back. So in the lower right-hand corner, I'm going to block audio and reload. So there's a button right here. Can you see that? That says remix this. And remember, I can't hear you, so you may need to type in the chat or something.
Yes, I see it. I got it.
All right. So you hit that. It'll create a whole new copy of that entire directory. And what you should see is a README page, right? And over here on the left, you have what is called, and I'm going to shut that. What you have is the index. It's an HTML page, and this is the code for that experience that you saw. And so if you go to the body, you have a scene, and you have assets. And so these assets are where you're going to be able to change those out. So IMG is an image asset. Audio, obviously, is an audio asset. You have source, equals. And so this image at this URL, if I go into another tab and I paste that there, I'm going to see that image, but I'm going to see it in 2D in the browser. Okay. So just to prove to yourself that, yes, you do actually have the URL for that image, you can do that. Did I just unshare?
You did.
I'm resharing. Are you back? Can you see it again? All right. So, crazy. Let me do this. Close.
Carl, did you share the one sheet yet that has these kind of instructions in the chat, or?
I did not, because I think that may confuse people more. So what you're going to do is this is the URL for that image that is there, right? So you're going to go here to your assets folder, which is up here on the upper left-hand corner. Okay. And in this directory, you have a bunch of images. So this is Tulum, the Mayan ruins. Here's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay. Here's the Colluseum. And so what you're going to do is copy. And what you're doing is copying this URL, right? You copy, you go back here over to the left to the index page. You find the image tag in between the quotes after source, and you paste and make sure that the quotes are still there, or else it's not going to show up right. And then you go here, and I use show in a new window. And so you should see a new image, right? So it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but you'll notice that the text hasn't changed. And if I had enabled the audio hadn't changed either. So why don't y'all go ahead and give that a try? And I don't know, holler or put something in the chat saying that, hey, I did that.
It worked.
It worked. Cool. Anybody having any issues doing that? Cool. So this is super, super easy, right? I'm gonna go back here. So now what we want you to do is go back into your assets folder, and you'll see all these things. These are MP3 files. They're audio files, okay? So when you click on these, you don't get to see the audio file, but if you want to hear what it sounds like, you can copy that address and you can open up another tab, okay, and paste that into the browser, and you'll be able to hear what that sounds like. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm seeing people having luck with that. So what I want you to do is choose. You know, you can choose what. Ultimately, you've got a whole library of images there, and you want to match your image with the soundtrack that you feel like fits it best or your mood best. And so you want to take, once you figure out the sound that you want or the audio that you want, you copy it, you come back here to the index page, find that audio tag, and in between the quotes after source, paste. And if you hit show and enable audio, as I will do right quick, and reload. And now, new picture, new audio. I'm gonna stop. So there you had a new picture, new audio. And the only thing really left to change is the text. And it's pretty self-explanatory how to do that. But if you go down here, is where it says that you see the A text tag. This is the font, Colluseum, and the value, that is the text that is inside that's shown there, that's inside the quote. So what is this, Pisa? I don't know, Pisa, right? And so if I go back.
The Colluseum, just to clarify.
Colluseum, okay, my bad.
Okay.
I can't really see everything, so yeah, anyway, it's all good. Thank you. So go back to show. And now you'll notice that it says Colluseum. So, you know, we've had 8-year-old students be able to make their own remixes in like 10 minutes online, right? So it's not super hard to do, but the key is getting people engaged and talking and sharing. So they're doing these technology things, but they're really telling a story and sharing things about themselves. Research shows if you can create secure attachment with a learner, they're just going to learn better. And it's going to be easier for you to help them do that as well. Y'all have questions about what I just showed you?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like looking at kind of remixing your code, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a question about like, I'm changing the text. Is there a way to change the font? I know it says like Colluseum. Yes. So
yes.
How do you, or where do you find like different fonts and things like that?
Great question. You know, there are standard fonts. So if you put in Helvetica,
yeah, it'll come up.
It's going to show you. Yeah, so it's the standard fonts that most browsers can read. It should work based on that. So you can put Arial or any of those fonts should work.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Other
So
questions?
we could probably make a list of like 10 to 12 fonts or whatever if they want to choose, just to make sure that they're there. But yeah, I think that's a cool thing to have.
Calibri is not there. Just
Calibri's no?
is a no. It's a no.
Oh, bummer. That's a great question.
Oh, actually, you know what? I put in Arial and it's not showing up either.
No?
Yeah, I tried that too. Also, is there a way to undo? Because like I just went back space and
Control Z.
Control Z. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Liliana asked, I can't hear, am I the one playing that music? I don't know.
I'm not hearing any music right now.
I heard music a minute ago, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that was.
Maybe that was me. Sorry.
I think that was you.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, now you know the process, take a few minutes to figure out the place that you want, right? Figure out the music that you want, and then we'll share. Does that make sense? So it's 12:47, so I'll give you 3 minutes. And then, yeah, I know, no pressure. And then we'll quickly share. And the way that you're going to want to share is when you hit show, you'll notice that you'll see the URL there, and you're going to take that URL and you're going to paste it into the chat. Make sense? All right, go for it, and feel free to ask questions if you have them.
I'm sorry. So the URL that we are getting is, where is it again? I'm sorry.
So when you hit so you're in the code, right? And you hit
when I go show in a new window, that's the URL.
Right.
Okay.
And so if you're accessing these through headsets, that's the URL that you want to put in the headset, right? And we'll have a whole separate thing about headsets at a later date. So there's all sorts of peculiarities with that. Okay. Maya, you already got yours.
I do.
We got 2 minutes, so I'm gonna give everybody time. I'm gonna shut up for a minute and drink some soda.
So Carl, you said something about your age before. Are you Gen X like me? You're muted though.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. 77.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I'm old.
He's an older Gen Xer.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like on
He's
the.
like, girl, girl, he's old.
I'm the young Gen X. Like 79, I think is the cutoff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
77.
I'm not gonna say, but
What?
I'm 79, so it's like, okay.
That exennial life, right?
yeah.
My husband is 76.
76.
Yeah, and I could have a sibling that was 71 or 72, but I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually 68.
Okay. That was in my mind, but I didn't, just because you said, I'm not going to say, I'm like, what are you, 68? But then I didn't want to do that to you.
Are you that old?
It's not that old. To
All
my
right.
students, it is.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
But, I mention things to them. They're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you should see how our E4 creatives clown us all the time.
I mentioned Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as good reference. I think there was one student who knew what I was talking about, and everyone else was like, who, what? What's that? It's a movie.
Tell them it's on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus now.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Let them know. That'll be their reference point.
So it is 12:50. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. And Mayette, let me share. Go back here. Boom. And paste. And I'm going to leave out the music for right now, but let's. Oh, that's not the right one. Here we go. You want to talk about your choice?
Well, I lived in San Francisco for 7 years, and that's where I met my husband. That's where I went to grad school. It's where I first got into the game industry. And I used to have to pass. I used to go across the Golden Gate Bridge every day to get to work in Novato.
Yeah, my folks lived in San Francisco on the Presidio when I was in college, and my mother was actually on the bridge that collapsed during that earthquake back in the day.
Back in '94, was it?
Yeah.
My husband told me that he and his mom told me back because she worked at UC, and I think they had just crossed the bridge, the Golden Gate, but she had a coworker who was on the other bridge and she died. So it was pretty rough. And, they didn't have cell phones back then. For all of you who were born in the late 90s or early aughts, there were no cell phones in 1994, really. And so I remember watching on the news. I lived in Cincinnati at the time. My husband said that he and his brother, of course, were just like, is our mom alive? We don't know. Right? Because they were at home from school up in Novato. So.
Wow. So this is Natalie.
Yes. For mine, I use the buttons like left and right rather than pressing on the screen. And I picked Rio. When I was younger, I used to run competitively, and I remember like Olympics was like the main thing. Like I always loved watching, and so I remember like the Rio 2016 Olympics were coming up, and I was just super psyched. And like the one place I wanted to go to was Rio, and so I chose that. But you kind of have to move left and right in order to see Christ the Redeemer.
Yeah. So for some reason, let me try and reload that because I don't think it fully loaded. Because I'm not able to. For some reason, I'm not able to view it properly. I'd have to look at your code to figure out why. But we're gonna have to come back because I want to get to a couple more of these. Is this Liliana? Okay. And Liliana, what is this and why'd you choose it?
I don't know what the gray square in the middle is, but this is Japan. It's Tokyo. I was just playing with the images. My son is into anime. He says he wants to go to school in Japan. So that's why I picked that picture. No big reason really. That's the only thing.
Okay.
It also, when I was playing with the sound, it took me forever to realize that the sound was coming from my computer. So it was very frustrating. I listened to the same soundbite like 10 times. But yeah, I learned.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. And there is no like perfect way to do this. Everybody has their own way of getting through it. So don't feel bad at all. Doing awesome. We got about 5 minutes. I think we can look at one more.
You don't have to choose mine because I chose the same picture. So it's the same, yeah.
Marina? Let's see.
I also supposedly chose the same picture. We'll see if it shows up.
Did you? Yep. Oh, and you even put Tokyo in there. I see you.
See, that would be a really cool talking point, right?
Can you see if the sound plays?
Sure. Let me.
I didn't listen to it. I was wondering what it was.
Allow audio. Reload. Oh yeah. So, we're 4 minutes out from ending this bad boy. So, I hope that was fun, at least somewhat fun. I hope, and like I said, there's no like one way to do these things. The way that the next workshop we're gonna do is we're gonna show you how to use Google Street View. And there's an application that you can use, a free application that you can snap any image in Google Street View. And so the idea is that that'll when these kids they say, hey, I want to this place is important to me. You say, well, let's go there on Google Street View, right? And so they're using the computer, they're finding information, they go to that place, and it's amazing what starts to happen to people when they see that place and they start to talk about it. And then you start to record them talking about it, right? So you've got that image asset, and then you start to record them talking about, then you've got a video or an audio asset. You smash those together and you have an experience that's at least compelling to them, right? And that gives you a baseline. And then you can start to say, okay, that first one was cool. Now, what would you do this time? And we have a rubric to be able to look at the work and talk about it. And ultimately, our goal in the last workshop we're going to do 2 weeks from now is about building a digital portfolio. Because the idea for us is we want all kids across Austin, ages 6 all the way to 18, to have a digital portfolio that will go with them their entire career, right? If you could imagine, you know, we're working with Latinitas, Creative Action, Call Me Madre, eventually people like Boys and Girls Club. So if you could have thousands of kids that are all have digital portfolios that port with them, then you can really start to accelerate the opportunities and development for the students. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do, because at the end of the day, E4Youth is a workforce development organization. And we're not trying to replace a Latinitas or anybody else, because they do great work. What we want to do is make it so we're all stronger, right? And we're a supplement, we're a partner with you. And our digital docents, our college students, they will be able to be there and support you. You know, a lot of times if you're working with younger students, maybe they can't go and capture those assets, but they can say, hey, that's my place. And then you could go, or a digital docent can go and capture those assets. And so those assets already made for them, right? And then they can focus on just doing an interview, or just, you see what I'm saying? So you can break it down so they have something very, very finite and focused for them to do. And that's also how kids start to discover what they're good at. Like, wow, I'm actually good at writing or narrating. And they can start to work together on these things as well. They can start to do book reports. So there's all sorts of ways that you can skin this. And we learn from you, okay? I learned a lot working with Latinitas staff over the last couple of years and just saying, oh, y'all are doing that now? So it's a really powerful tool. So it's 1 o'clock. I want to be respectful of your time. I really enjoyed interacting with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you have other colleagues that you think that could benefit from participating in this, it's not too late for them to be able to do that as well. Any questions, comments, thoughts before we go? All right.
Thank you,
Well,
Carl.
Thank you. This was fun.
Y'all have a great afternoon. I'm going to go swimming.
Bye.
Lucky.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.